Let's move on to the mother country, Britain. Last night, Aston Villa because they're British, so they mispronounce these words. Aston Villa played Maccabi Tel Aviv. And Aston Villa won 2-0. Maccabi Tel Aviv is not doing well in the Europa League. Why is why is an Israeli team in the Europa League and not in the Middle East League? Well, because none of the Arabs want them there, because Arabs famously don't like Jews and don't like Jewish teams, so they play in Europe. Turns out Europe doesn't like them much either. This made the news a couple weeks ago, but over in Britain, the UK police banned Israeli soccer fans from the game. Said, don't want any Israelis there. Are Israelis violent? Are Israelis gonna tear up the town? And just so you know how these kind of British soccer games work, Europa League, whatever, there's usually like a section set aside for the visiting fans, and they'll have it fenced off. But once you get outside, that's during the game. But once you get outside, it's public. So, according to the article, this comes from an Associated Press article. Links will be in the link dump in the description of the video below, so you can check this out. But this is the AP reporting. It says Premier League team Aston Villa said Thursday that police had informed the club that they have public safety concerns outside the Stadium Bowl and the ability to deal with any potential protests on the night. West Midlands Police said it had deemed the match to be high risk based on current intelligence and previous incidents, including violence and hate crimes that took place when Maccabi Tel Aviv played Ajax in Amsterdam last season. Fan bans are not unheard of in European soccer, but are typically based on a history of violence between fans of rival clubs. There is no history of violence between Aston Villa and Maccabi fans. Notice how this is phrased, and this is odious. Violence and hate crimes that took place when Maccabi Tel Aviv played Ajax in Amsterdam last season. It sounds like these Israeli fans were going berserk all over the place. No, it's not what happened. This is from, I thought I fixed the thing. This was reported in the, I got this one from The Athletic. Okay, so this is from The Athletic, which is the New York Times kind of sports site. I should have put it on the thing, on the slide. This is what them describing what happened in Amsterdam after the Ajax game. Flashpoints were contained by police, but it was after the game, once Maccabi fans had returned to Amsterdam city center, that, according to Mayor Frank Halsema, rioters carried out several hit-and-runs attacks on Israelis in various locations. Visiting supporters were eventually offered protection from police and protection by police. They need copy editors too. And taken to hotels by bus. Order was restored according to Hala by about 3 a.m. local time. I don't know who Hala is. Probably a police report or cop of some sort. I am deeply ashamed of the behavior that unfolded, Halsema told reporters. On Telegram messaging groups, people talked of going to hunt down Jews. It's so terrible I can't find the words for it. In comments reported by Reuters, Israeli President Isaac Herzog said the King of the Netherlands, Willem Alexander, had expressed his deep horror and shock at the events in Amsterdam. The scale of violence led Israel airline El Al chartering 2 rescue flights on Friday morning, with instructions from Maccabi for its supporters to stay in hotels and avoid wearing Jewish symbols until returning home. Many visiting fans were taken from their hotels to Amsterdam's Schiphol airport by buses that were afforded extra police protection on their journey. This was a pogrom. They had largely Arab cab drivers and Uber drivers and Lyft drivers going out there, and they were warning the Israeli fans, do not get in an Uber. And they were chasing them down and attacking them. That's what was going on in Amsterdam. There were some limited, things about some Maccabi fans saying some things or doing some things, that were out of line. But it pales in comparison to this. The Maccabi stuff, the fans, things they allegedly did there were kind of in line with typical back and forth that occurs in European soccer matches. Got another video for you. You're going to love this. Here we go. Well, there you go. You notice how they're all wearing masks because they're proud of what they're doing. This is anti-Semitism dressed up as anti-Zionism. If you see a Zionist call the anti-terror police, I'm not sure or anti-terror hotline, I'm not sure they should be worried about that, really. Let's go back to, so that's what was going on outside Aston Villa before last night. It's an article from the NL Times on the aftermath of they did an after-action report on what happened there. It says, in multiple incidents, authorities allegedly lost track of where the unrest was unfolding. Demonstrators moved rapidly between locations, targeting Jewish symbols and venues near the stadium, including the Orthodox synagogue and the kosher restaurant Ha Carmel. In one instance, officers abandoned efforts to contain the chaos and focused on preserving their own safety. I don't necessarily blame them, but hey, okay. Investigators faulted Amsterdam police for relying too heavily on traditional intelligence gathering methods in an era of digital mobilization, where riots and hate crimes are often planned via private messaging channels. Again, this wasn't the Maccabi fans. At around the time of the match, Maccabi Tel Aviv fans and people perceived to be Jewish, were threatened, intimidated, and in some cases assaulted at multiple locations across Amsterdam. Despite these incidents, the city authorities shared no formal public updates between 1:40 a.m. and 9 a.m. the following morning, according to a separate report by the COT Institute for Safety and Crisis Management. She added that authorities need to be more alert to anti-Semitic signals in private chat groups and social channels. There's a dangerous gap when the police are not getting the intelligence that leads to such a hunt for Jews. They want to make this a both sides thing. Look at this. Meanwhile, Dutch Public Prosecution Service, OM, confirmed Sunday to drop two separate criminal investigations into alleged assaults by Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters against pro-Palestinian individuals. The cases, connected to incidents on the Amsterdam metro system, were dropped after security footage that could have served as key evidence was erased. You're going to get the typical anti-Semite saying, oh, the Jews control all the media. I don't think so. I think they lost it because, well, go on, I'll tell you why I think I lost it. According to Dutch broadcaster NOS, the footage was lost due to a combination of short retention periods and equipment replacement by the city's transit operator GVB. Unfortunately, this necessary replacement combined with a limited retention period resulted in the footage no longer being available, a GVB spokesperson said. While the standard retention time is 1 week, some recordings are saved for even less time, the company added. Yeah. Here's why the stuff got disappeared. It's not to save the Jews. It's to prove, it would have proved that they were the victims. That's what's going on here. Give me a break. Give me a break. Yeah, didn't happen. Next one up is, this is by Aaron Greenblatt. I think his first name's Aaron. He's head of the Anti-Defamation League here in the U.S. This was posted to the Times of Israel in response to the Jew hunt of a year ago in Amsterdam, the same case. It says, on the evening of November 7, 2024, after Amsterdam's Ajax soccer team played the visiting Maccabi Tel Aviv, hundreds of Israeli fans were hunted down in the streets like animals. On Telegram and WhatsApp groups, young men of Turkish and Moroccan descent planned and coordinated the attack in real time, calling it a Jew hunt or a Jodenjacht in Dutch. Most of them probably weren't using Dutch, they were probably using Arabic, but that's just my supposition. Operating in gangs, they isolated victims, filmed their abuse, and forced some to yell, "Free Palestine," under threat of violence. Some Jewish fans escaped by jumping into canals. Police officials falsely portrayed the situation as one of violence on both sides. Nothing could have been further from the truth. While there were instances of Israelis behaving badly, the scale and severity of the violence against Jews and Israelis was of a completely different magnitude. And yet somehow police arrested only a handful of perpetrators. Those found guilty of attacking Jews received light sentences. This wasn't just a travesty of justice. This was no justice at all. Dutch media distorted the facts and excused the attacks on Jews as a logical consequence of provocation by Maccabi fans. Some Amsterdam City Council members echoed this victim blaming. The political party Bij One even posted their appreciation on Instagram, thanking the brave Dutch taxi drivers for standing up. Europe as a whole has imported a bunch of people from the Middle East, Britain as well, and they've brought their anti-Semitic bigotry with them. It's happening here to a lesser extent in the U.S. There are areas, I'm thinking Dearborn, Michigan, where it's probably not safe to walk around with a yarmulke on, or wearing a Star of David, or those sorts of things. This is where these societies are at. I'm not sure if there's a way to fix it. A wholesale revocation of visas and asylum hearings and whatnot. I'm not sure how you can get rid of them. It's going to get worse before it gets better, if it does get better. No surprise here. If you like what you saw here, please like, subscribe, watch another video. Please follow me on Twitter @Hoystory. Please go to my Facebook page, hoystory.com, the words dot and com on Facebook. And thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.